Welcome to Clue Trail, where we dig deep into the darkest corners of true crime. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to follow, leave a rating or review. And for even more strange and haunting stories, check out our Patreon for exclusive bonus content. Now, today's case leads us down another strange and unsettling path. Let's get into it. It all started with a baby monitor. In the quiet Czech town of Kurim, a man testing his wireless feed caught a glimpse of something he couldn't explain. A boy, locked in a small, dark room, clearly in distress. It wasn't his child. It wasn't even from his home. That accidental discovery would unravel one of the most disturbing cases in modern Czech history. At its center, two young brothers, a mother, a mysterious girl with no past, and a web of manipulation so tangled it reached into secretive spiritual circles and cult-like beliefs. This isn't just a story of abuse. It's a story of deception and the terrifying ways control can be hidden in plain sight. This is the Kurim case. It was a quiet evening on 7th of May 2007 in Kurim, a small town in South Moravia. Edward Trdy had a new baby and decided it's time to begin setting up his baby monitor to connect with his TV. As he was adjusting the equipment, something strange happened. His screen picked up a signal he didn't expect. The video feed appeared to show a young boy, alone in what looked like a confined space, maybe a cellar. The image was grainy and unclear, but it deeply unsettled him. The boy was clearly tied and he wasn't alone. He was, at that time, being fed by someone. He immediately suspected something was wrong and contacted authorities right away. The police was very quick to act. The signal could only come from the vicinity of this man's house. Plus, he recognized the child on the grainy video as his neighbor's son, Ondrej. But police had to be certain, so a door-to-door search began. And, in the end, they arrived at little Ondrej's house, where he lived with his mother, Klara Mauerova, and his older brother, Jakub. The Mauerova house had a charming, almost storybook quality to it. It looked like the kind of place a family might rent for a quiet countryside holiday. It was cozy, welcoming, and unremarkable. Nothing about it suggested the dark reality inside. It didn't look like the kind of place where children would be harmed, or where secrets more fitting of a horror film would unfold behind closed doors. So, could the police and Trdy been wrong? Unfortunately, things were far from picture perfect. When police arrived at the house and requested to search the property, They had no idea what they were about to uncover. What waited behind those doors would defy all expectations and set off an investigation unlike anything the town of Kurim had ever seen. When officers first knocked on the Mauerova home, Klara answered the door. Calmly, the police asked if any children were present in the house. Klara replied that she only had a daughter. With no immediate grounds for further action, the officers stepped away, but they weren't entirely convinced. Reviewing the intercepted video again, they noticed something small but very significant: background music. It was the same music they had heard while standing at Klara's doorstep. That detail confirmed their suspicion. This was the right house. The officers returned. This time, they were let inside, reluctantly. Klara wasn't alone. Her older sister, Katerina, was also living in the house. From the moment they opened the door, it was clear the mood had shifted. The sisters seemed anxious, uneasy under scrutiny. The officers noted how guarded they were and how tense the atmosphere felt. As the search began, one detail stood out. A door, located near the stairs, appeared to be locked. When asked about it, the sisters became visibly uncomfortable. They claimed the door had always been locked and that their landlord had never given them a key. According to them, there was nothing of interest behind it, just a forgotten space. But the officers weren't convinced. The evasiveness only deepened their suspicion. Why stall? Why avoid opening a door in their own home during a police search? They had enough of this nonsense and whatever game the sisters were playing, and they made a call. The door would be open one way or another. Firefighters were summoned to the home and broke through the door. What they found on the other side stunned even the most seasoned responders. A note to our listeners. The following moments in this story involve references to the mistreatment of children. While we will keep the descriptions brief and non-graphic, they might still be distressing. No child should ever endure what these boys went through. We share this part of the story not to shock, but to raise awareness and to ensure the truth is not forgotten. Inside the cramped, windowless space, laying on the floor, was 8-year-old Ondrej. He had been kept in isolation, in conditions no child should ever have to endure. He was found with his hands and feet tied on the cold floor in a cage. Both him and his brother showing clear signs of severe abuse. They had visible scars and burns, and they were so malnourished and living in complete filth. The abuse wasn't just physical, it was psychological too. In one particularly haunting incident revealed later, one of the boys was reportedly forced to dig a shallow grave meant to serve as a form of punishment. The lasting impact of that kind of trauma is difficult to imagine. What we've shared here is only a small glimpse of what these boys went through. The full extent of their suffering is difficult to put into words, and out of respect, we've chosen not to go into graphic detail. The abuse they endured spanned many forms and reached unimaginable depths. It's heartbreaking, it's disturbing, and it's hard to comprehend, especially knowing it came from those who should have protected them. If you want to explore the case further, there are trusted resources and books available that offer a more in-depth examination. But please approach them with care, because the content is profoundly upsetting. Emergency responders acted immediately. Ondrej and his older brother, Jakub, were immediately removed from the home. Later on, one of the firemen told the court that when he freed little Ondrej, he didn't make a sound, he didn't scream, he didn't ask for help. Nothing. Both Klara and her sister were taken into custody for questioning, and as the investigation continued, a clearer picture began to emerge. How could something like this happen? And how had it gone undetected for so long? Those questions would only deepen in the months to come. As the investigation unfolded, more questions began to surface, starting with Klara Mauerova herself, the mother of the two boys. Who was she really, and who were the people surrounding her? In particular, attention turned to a young girl living in the house at that time. She was introduced simply as Anna, a quiet, withdrawn child who, according to Klara, had recently joined the family. Klara, at first when the police arrived, introduced her as her daughter. But as investigators would soon learn, Anna wasn't who she claimed to be, not even close. But let's start with Klara first. She didn't fit the image of a criminal. She was soft-spoken, respected in her community, and had worked with youth programs. There was no history of abuse. But what we see in people, it's mainly the image they want us to see. What went behind closed doors in this house was far more sinister. Klara and her sister, Katerina, shared a deeply intense spiritual bond. From a young age, both believed that they were destined for something greater, a divine purpose. Over time, that belief became more extreme. Family members later described signs of mental health struggles, but any treatment was inconsistent. Their mother reportedly resisted professional help, and voices of reasons in Klara's life, her husband, her parents, even another sister, were gradually pushed away over time. As her personal life fell apart, Klara became increasingly consumed by her beliefs, and as her husband left, her grip on reality also began to slip. And in that fragile state, she became vulnerable, easily influenced by those who echoed her delusions. There are photos from before it all changed. Klara smiling with her children. It was a happy family. But something shifted. and it was around 2005 when it was noticed. And it started with her son spending more and more time with her grandparents, while she grew withdrawn, pale, thin, and distant. Klara was becoming consumed by her spiritual beliefs and by people who seemed to encourage her detachment from reality. And amongst them was her sister, Katerina, whose influence would later be seen as deeply destructive. But there was someone else too, someone unexpected. And the arrival of this mysterious figure would mark the final turn in Klara's story. When questioned about the mysterious girl living in the house, Klara explained that her name was Anna, a 13-year-old she had recently adopted. She said Anna had come from a difficult background and needed a stable, loving home. On the surface, it sounded noble, but the details didn't quite line up. The investigators quickly discovered that Anna wasn't enrolled in any school. She had no official documentation, and whenever social workers or professionals tried to speak with her, Klara or Katerina would step in and answer on her behalf. The more they looked, the stranger the case became. Eventually, Anna was placed into care for her own safety. And it was there, under the watch of doctors, teachers, and staff, that something remarkable was discovered. The girl seemed unusually mature. Her speech, her demeanor, even her physical development didn't really match that of a 13-year-old. Anna was not a child. She wasn't even a teenager. She was a 33-year-old woman named Barbara Skrzylova. Barbara was suffering from a growth disease which helped her deliberately disguise herself as a child. And as authorities dug deeper, it became clear that she was deeply entangled with the Mauerova sisters. Barbara's manipulation had been so convincing that even professionals had been fooled. But the bigger question here was, why? Why would a grown woman pretend to be a child, insert herself into a family, and help orchestrate the mistreatment of two young boys? It made no sense. The answers to these questions led investigators into a world of cult, ideology, psychological domination, and secrets that would take years to unravel. To understand how Barbara Skrzylova could pose as a child and how Klara and Katerina could become so entangled in her lies, we have to look beyond the individuals and into the belief system that shaped them. At the center of this strange web was an obscure spiritual group known as the Grail movement, also called the Grail Message. Focused on the writings of Oscar Ernest Bernard, the Grail Message was a collection of spiritual teachings that promoted strict moral codes, apocalyptic warnings, and ideas about purification of the soul. Basically, your classic cult, although not classed as one by the Czech authorities, at least not yet. Barbara's father was believed to be a key figure in the group. He allegedly led a branch of this group, but with more extreme interpretations of the teachings. and Klara and Katerina were both members of this specific branch, and it's said they were deep under this guy's influence. According to later court testimony and press investigations, Barbara was a skilled manipulator within this group. She didn't just believe in the teachings, she used them to control others. The nightmare for these children started at the hands of this woman. She convinced Klara that her own sons were possessed and that their suffering was necessary for spiritual cleansing. In this twisted view, pain was a form of purification, and Barbara positioned herself as a divine figure with special insight on how to perform this purification. This belief system, combined with the sisters' emotional dependency, allowed Barbara to gradually dominate their household. She moved in, posing as a vulnerable orphan. She gained complete trust, and she began to justify these horrible acts done to the children under the guise of saving them. Barbara was extremely cunning, and what made her even more dangerous was her ability to just disappear into new identities. After being exposed, she actually fled the country, disguised, this time as a boy named Adam. She enrolled in a school for children with special needs in Norway. It took weeks for authorities to track her down, and when they did, they found that she had once again manipulated her way into a position of sympathy and care, this time within an entirely different country. By the time Barbara Skrylova was located in Norway, the case had already become one of the most widely reported in Czech history. The bizarre nature of the deception, an adult woman posing as a child, the cold connections, the psychological manipulation, captivated the media and horrified the public. In 2008, Czech authorities brought charges against 6 people involved in the case: Klara, Katerina, Barbara, and 3 others tied to the same fringe religious circle. They were charged with abuse and false imprisonment. Prosecutors argued that the group had not only harmed the 2 boys, but had done so as part of a belief system that condoned suffering as spiritual purification. The defense presented a different picture. Women under psychological domination, genuinely believing they were protecting the children from spiritual harm. Klara was visibly shaken and emotional, and she claimed that she had been manipulated by Barbara and by her sister. She insisted she was told the boys were at risk from dark forces, and that the treatment was part of their spiritual healing. Meanwhile, Barbara gave inconsistent accounts. At times she admitted deception, and other times she claimed she had no control over what happened. Psychological evaluations played a key role in the proceedings. Experts described the women as highly suggestible and emotionally dependent on Barbara's approval. Some reports even compared the dynamic to cult conditioning, where groupthink, fear, and spiritual ideology replaced rational judgment. In October 2008, the trial was over and the court handed down its sentences. Klara received a 9-year prison sentence. Katerina was sentenced to 10 years, and Barbara received 5 years. a lighter sentence attributed in part to questions around her mental health and her manipulative rather than violent role. The others involved received various sentences between 5 and 7 years. For many, the punishment seemed light, considering the psychological trauma inflicted, but the court focused heavily on the mental state of the women and the influence of cult-like thinking in determining the sentencing. The case left the public stunned and divided. Some viewed the women as victims of psychological control, while others saw them as perpetrators hiding behind religion and delusion. After the trial ended in 2008, the public slowly turned away from the headlines. But the scars left behind by the Kurim case remained. The two boys at the center of it, Ondrej and Jakub, were placed into protective care and shielded from further media exposure. Their identities were later changed to allow them a chance at anonymity and recovery. Authorities confirmed they received psychological treatment and were enrolled in long-term recovery programs. Their current whereabouts are unknown to the public, for good reason. As for Barbara, she served part of her 5-year sentence before being released. Her re-entry into society sparked outrage, as many believed her role in the events had been severely downplayed. Since then, she had kept a low profile. There were occasional tabloid sightings and rumors of her relocating, but no confirmed reports or further involvement in any similar activity. Klara and Katerina completed their prison terms. Klara gave a statement after her release expressing remorse, insisting she had been manipulated by Barbara and emotionally overwhelmed by the spiritual ideas she had embraced. Whether that remorse was genuine is something the public still debates. One of the most enduring mysteries is how this group operated for so long without anyone noticing. Friends, neighbors, and even educators had interacted with the family, yet no one truly grasped what was happening behind closed doors. The case raised serious questions in the country about the oversight of fringe religious groups, the limit of parental authority, and how psychological control can override even the most basic instincts to protect a child. Though the Grail movement itself denies any connection to the abuse, the court and media reports painted a more complicated picture. And in the years that followed, a cultural debate emerged. How do we draw the line between personal faith and fanaticism? This is the Kurim case, a case that reminds us of how dangerous manipulation can become when it hides behind love, belief, or trust. What happened behind those closed doors in Kurim was not just a tragedy, it was a wake-up call. Thank you for listening. Stay curious, stay safe, and keep following the clues. Until next time.